But as long as you yell, then we should be good.
That's fine. I can speak up. I live by myself, so
All right, all right. So okay, so how are you joining the dual blade? You're not considering switching, so I assume it's going pretty well.
it is going well. I used to play Ice Lightning Mage back on Bara,
Mm-hmm.
then played Maple Story 2 for its entire lifespan. So it shut down in March last year, and then I thought I don't want to go back to Bara just to go back to that pay to win aspect. So thought let me just pick up Reboot, give it a try, and here I am.
Mm-hmm. Here you are, and you have been for a while, I guess.
Yep, sure have.
So I'm gonna look at the numbers a little bit. And is there anything specific that you have? Any like pertinent questions about?
Really, the biggest thing is probably like the last few progression sessions. I've been, watching them, and I think my biggest question is, a week from now we got that 5, 10, 15 coming up. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my big concern is to allocate my funds properly. So
Okay. And is there anything else in the game, like systems in the game, that you like me to just double check, make sure it's all in order, or are you pretty confident about all of that?
I'm fairly confident on everything, like transfer hammering, transposing, all the systems and stuff like that. They all make sense. So
Mm-hmm. Like skills and stuff. So you're at the point where you just 100% crit rate all the time, right?
right, right. Even without the passive
Mm-hmm.
shadow melt, I still have 100% even during boss fights. So
Right. Mm-hmm. Bossing setup. And do you switch out anything in the link setup, depending on situation?
depending on the situation, I can. I sometimes use close call if
Mm-hmm.
the fight's a little riskier.
Mm-hmm.
So
Instead of like noble fire, then, or
I would probably keep Noble Fire in a party setting,
yeah, in the party
but
setting,
I
yeah,
just don't know what I would drop. Probably just Elementalism,
yeah,
either that or like Cygnus Blessing,
or Cygnus blessing, yeah,
since it's only at level 6.
yeah. If you like solo hard lotus or something, you could do Cygnus blessing and switch out the noble fire for close call.
Right. I actually I duo Hard Lotus with a Mihal. So
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's like a walking shield basically.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. They just did they just aggro it in a corner and you just wail on it?
Pretty much. Like if aggro actually worked in this game,
Yeah, it's a bit of a bad system. Yeah, how it balances out. Yeah.
he gets really tilted when it doesn't like aggro on him. Like when Lotus, and especially in phase 3, he's just trying to get aggro, especially when the platforms fall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there looking for the safest platform I can find, and he just sits there and tanks it with noble
Yeah, just
noble guard
yeah, Royal Guard. Yeah,
or royal guard.
just tanks the whole thing. Yeah,
Must be nice to be Mihal.
yeah. I think
DB's
they're
never rough with only 2 iframes.
yeah only two. Yeah, and one of them is getting a little bit of a nerf too.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it's not too bad. Probably kind of deserved with how much damage you can output with your kit at the same time. Dark side
it is.
kind of
It's-
broken in Lotus.
Yeah, it's 100% warranted. I understand why it's getting the nerf bat.
Mm. Okay, so and what's like the plan with the character? Like, what are you so what's the stuff you're able to do now, and what are you aiming for?
Right now, I can do hard Damien, hard Lotus, in a small party, usually like duo or trio,
Mm-hmm.
and I can do hard Lucid, hard Will. Actually, I did for the first time yesterday. So
Okay, how was that?
I had a lot of practice with my guild leader,
Mm-hmm.
so big shout out to him for helping me out, just doing a bunch of practice runs with me.
Mm-hmm.
And that really set me up for success in hard will. Just I tried my best not to use moonlight at all in normal, just to kind of simulate what it would be like.
Yep.
And that seemed to do the trick. So
Yeah, because you can't really rely on it that much in hard.
right,
Yeah.
especially in phase 2, that is
Yeah.
a little rough.
That is, yeah, that's the roughest phase. Like in the beginning, it's like bind, burst, and then everyone drops like flies.
Right.
A lot of times, and then it's just like respawn whenever the bind's up, do some damage kind of thing in the beginning. Healing familiars definitely help a lot. It depends on if your party is kind of new-ish characters that don't all have big healing familiars, or everyone has one. That could be a huge difference with how quickly everyone just drops.
You'll actually see in my familiars, I think it's farther down, you'll see just how much healing I really have in a party setting.
Yeah, I think I saw some rock snakes, suit talons. Yeah, large amount of HMP outlines your character in black. Does that does that affect you
It's
when you're
so
bossing?
tilting because I'm one of those fashion story players, and it's like all I have to see is just this black outline of my character.
You're like some kind of new challenger approaching in Super Smash all the time.
Right? See how I got both of those familiars have outlined my
Yeah.
character in black, like super tilting.
Yeah, I think my hero has one where it makes your character get like goo goo eyes or something, and it triggers all the time, and then it triggers me in return.
Yeah.
Oh well, until you get something better.
I actually have a third like large healing and HP
Mhm.
familiar, so I just didn't list it just because those are the three main ones that I use.
What is your when it comes to like ID and boss damage? What is your setup with that?
As far as those, I've been trying to find some better epic and unique
Mhm.
familiars. I have the 15% IED familiars, just a couple rare ones,
Yeah. Okay.
but really just looking for those higher chunks of IED on, epic and unique tier. I just haven't had any luck yet.
Mhm.
I've probably made 20, 25 unique familiars, and those three are the best that I've seen.
Okay. I mean, increased item drop rate by a large amount is a really good one. So
Right, and paired with the large healing on top of it, it's like,
yeah,
go ahead and swap out for phase 3 will.
yeah,
Ready to
that's
kill the boss.
really
I'm like, I
really
don't have
useful.
to.
Yeah, everyone's like struggling to switch. You're just chilling. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I did have a question
yeah,
about the familiars.
sure.
So I have the large item drop amount and a
Mhm.
large item and meso drop amount, and I
Mhm.
see both of the icons on my buff bar. Do
Yep.
both of those apply?
So one of them will be your item large amount, which is roughly equivalent to 100% item drop rate, and then the other one will be the meso drop by a large amount, which is like roughly 60%, and that will be the two ones that you see the in the split large amount of drop. That one doesn't apply because it's also roughly 60%, so it's lower than the large drop, and therefore gets cancelled out by the larger sum.
I gotcha.
And because 100% just item drop rate is enough to always get bags of meso, the other one functionally actually doesn't add anything.
That's a big rip then. Kind of a
Yeah.
waste of a line.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good placeholder line until you get large item drop rate. But once you have large item drop rate, the only thing that you can possibly add is like item acquisition on unique.
Right. I haven't been fortunate enough to see that yet.
Yeah, that's the only thing, and that's only 10% extra, so that's a very minor min-maxy thing. So that's the only way you can get like two drop rates to work. But yeah, the way that you have this suit talent right here basically makes it for mobbing and bossing just always the one that you want to have.
Yeah,
And
I
then
pretty much never take that one off.
yeah,
for any
no,
reason.
I wouldn't. It's really good. Everyone jealous in the chat. But yeah, wait, how many unique did you make? Like 5
No, I've probably made 20 or
or 20?
25.
25. Okay. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and those three are definitely the best that I've seen. I've
Mhm.
seen just a lot of really crappy ones, like plus 3% defense and a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, I was like, well, how is this on unique? To be fair though, the unique lines in general are not bad, and there's not too many of them, so there's not a whole bunch of junk that's like cluttering it. Because I think normal lines is 17, common is 60, and then rare is 90. Epic is 113, and then unique. Oh, it's 133. Never mind. Take it back. But like all of the lines are kind of okay.
Yeah, as long as you don't get those top ones in that list there,
Yeah, or
you're
these like
probably gonna be good.
attacks have a chance, 10% chance to ignore a percentage of damage. Those
Saw
are,
that one a couple times.
yeah, chance to reflect some damage.
So useful.
Mm. Yeah, here are some bad ones. And there's a lot of, oh yeah, there's a lot of like party stat increase that have no reason, no business being in there. Oh, it's a legendary that's broken. Yeah, legendary only has 44 options. The worst is probably like 9% defense.
Think eventually we'll ever see the legendary tier in Reboot.
I don't think so. I think they'll keep that one exclusive to non-reboot.
I suppose they do have to have a few perks for the non-rebooters for them to keep paying.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta have incentive to keep dropping
Otherwise,
money.
they just be like, let's abandon ship and go to Reboot and just make the population even worse.
Yeah. Oh, there's an item acquisition rate plus 12% and a meso obtained plus 12, which I think is just 12 extra mesos per bag, I believe, because it doesn't have a percentage. If it be meso obtained percent 12%, that'd be pretty broken because it probably stacks with everything.
Right.
Boss damage up to 50, but yeah, that's legendary, so that can never happen because that's what the breakthrough thing means, right? On your no, breakthrough is like to go past level 5. Because I think in non-reboot they can make it into a breakthrough and then it can go up to level 7. So it can gain more attack and defense. But reboot doesn't have that option, so rip.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they ask people about but it's only unique and legendary that can break through, so that's why they only have that option on there. Okay, but that clears everything up with familiars?
Yeah, that was the only question there, was just if those stack because of the 2 icons that are on the buff bar. So
Yeah. Yeah,
it
they're
was just a
seen.
little misleading.
Yeah, it's because they're seen as different types of buffs. That's why they can both show up. But yeah, meso drop rate gets encapsulated by item drop rate, so therefore it doesn't. It only helps itself if your drop rate itself is below, is anywhere below 80%, I guess, or like below 70%. Then it has some value. But if it's above that, then you're good. So,
Sounds good.
yep. Okay, and then your Legion is coming along just nicely, 6.9, nice. You don't need that crit rate, going into boss damage, crit damage, IED.
The only other thing I was considering with the Legion setup is just moving, instead of having max IED and then the points in boss, there is just to like flip flop boss damage and IED, since dual blades get so much of it just in their kit.
Have you talked to like other dual blades about that? Like what kind of IED they usually settle on their screen, I guess?
I haven't. I mean, right now I have 91, and that really only boosts it to 92. So I don't know how much of a difference that would make. You know, I would gain 21% boss damage. But functionally, I'm sitting at close to 94, 95% IED almost all the time, even with just like the little, rare familiars. So
with the rare familiars, yeah, that might be a thing. If you get like chunkier familiar, that's probably going to be like the final go ahead to just prioritize boss damage over IED.
Right.
Like one more, so because what's your WSE looking like right now? So we're looking at
not as good as I would like it to be.
It is very expensive to upgrade though.
Poured many tens of bills into all the WSE, and it's like I just can't get over having that one luck line pop up in my potential.
Why would you leave? He
I
just
know,
keeps coming back. Get your Xenon shoes out there.
Yep, gotta have those. It's really unfortunate that Ranmaru doesn't have his flame drop rate anymore.
Yeah, that's very.
Really wanted to finish a lot of these flames, but some of them are kind of done.
Sets his back, right? You're using the ID line on the secondary.
I had an identical potential to my weapon, like my dagger. They both had the exact same lines. But then I, got a few cubes, and, did that on a black cube, and I saw that. I'm like, well, I think losing 10% boss damage and 10% luck in favor of 30% IED is probably a fair trade.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because have you calculated like function? So what is your functional IED that's like 100% uptime? Do you know that?
100% uptime is like 94 to 95. It's in between those two numbers.
Mm-hmm. And then you have 20 passive, 20 boost node, 30 on your main attack.
Yeah, 30 from Phantom Blow with an additional 20. So, and those don't get added together when you calculate the chunks of IED together. It's like not a 50 line, but it's a 30 and a 20, right?
Yeah, 30 and 20. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Was it 20 boost node and then 30 innate, and then you have the hyper passive, right?
Right. Yeah. Guard break, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, and that works on the main mobbing and the main bossing skill.
It's the main bossing skill, I believe.
Only on that one, okay. And then the Asura's Anger has 100%, and then your main burst skill also has 100%.
Yeah, Blade Tempest and Asura's Anger, 60-second cooldown to 90-second cooldown both have 100% ID, and of course our 12-second cooldown Blade Tornado.
Yeah, does that one have? That one has
That one
IED?
that one also has 100% IED.
Yeah, that's very balanced.
Totally fair.
Totally fair. Yeah, totally reasonable.
It's no wonder why they're nerfing that down to just capping at, 6 attacks per Blade Tornado instead of being able to just hit really big targets for, 10 plus times per attack.
So that means that you'll be, if you're functionally 100% between 94 and 95-ish, that means that functionally you're probably like between 96 and 97, even if you remove the line of ID from your secondary.
So the goal would be to just send it with red cubes.
Yeah, full
and
attack.
just try for the 3-line wonder.
Yeah, or like 2-line, 1-line of boss is very close as well.
Like 49-9 or just 12-9-30 or something like that.
Yeah, 12. Well, it's level 160, right? So you add up with 13,
Oh, that's
13,
right.
30, 10 would be, yeah, the attack lines there and on your weapon are more desirable because of the higher tier.
Right.
Yeah, like 40 10 10 would be like the worst of the best outcomes, basically. Or 30 10 10 would be the worst of the best outcomes, basically.
Yeah, I think when I looked it up, it was like my ideal setup would be 8-1-0, like 8 attack, 1 boss.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah. The hardest part is getting that emblem to 3 attack.
Yeah, I'm sitting on 2-line with the luck. It's like 2.25 lines.
Yeah, it's like a quarter line, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even call it 2.5 lines because luck just isn't.
No, it's so far. Yeah, it's so far behind, yeah.
It's just like no matter how many mesas I dump into those 3 items, I just can't get the mystical 3-line attack. I've gotten magic attack twice now.
Yeah, I was gonna say multiple times probably, yeah, because that's not what you want. So of course you would, you would get that, yeah.
Make all the mages jelly in guild chat when I get that. Have to link it to them and then just roll over it casually.
Yeah, the question is like how hard do you want to go on? You probably want to focus more on because the Katara is transposed.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, probably want to go the hardest on your Katara at this point, and then if that gets settled, then I guess the emblem after that. Because I wouldn't go too hard on the weapon if you're doing all the bosses that you're doing. I would just get the weapon to like 17 and just set it there and just wait for your arcane to pop.
That's what I was considering too. I mean, I got 2 chances per week now if I can keep doing that hard will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the play though, because you can already do all the stuff, so it's not required to throw money at, right? The only thing you want to throw money at now is the things that are not going to get replaced.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So probably how many Katara like backups do you have?
I don't have any, but I run CPQ and solo voyages every day, so I can get just tons of them. They drop pretty much every day for me. So.
Yeah, because since that's a level 160 item, and that's one that you can get a lot of backups, that's probably the one that you want to just send very high Star Force, like as the next item.
Right.
Because all the other ones just have some kind of drawbacks that are just significantly worse. And then for the Katara, it's just like, just do a few CPQs and get a bunch of them. Running Hard Lucid and Hard Will, yeah. And then the next thing would be like CRA, right? Because you have probably a huge amount of backups for that.
Yeah, I got like 200 fragments of each one. Just tons and tons of backups. I'll open them and see what kind of flames they get. Other than that, I'll just send them like Starforce wise.
Yeah, you'd have to get a pretty damn good flame to like override what you have now, I would say.
Yeah, a lot of them are like above average in terms of flame, like the CRA, but nothing like incredible.
Yep. The Panzer 40, 86, yeah. Panzer a little bit lower than the top. Top of 84 is pretty good. 84, 86, she was pretty good. Glove was pretty good. What was the keypad again?
It's 55 and 5 with some strength and dex on it.
Yep. So it's like 90, a little bit higher. Yep. Since cup is 90 plus. Yeah, so I mean, like the no-brain thing is just like to push everything 17, right? But the thing is, you wanna go beyond that on the items that you can realistically kind of guarantee that you will upgrade. And I think at this point, do you have the hat for when you get the weapon? Is that the...
Yeah, it should be in the list there. I think it's right next to my CRA hat.
Yeah, I saw it, yeah. It's just, yeah, it's wondering, like, that's why you have it, basically, not if you have it.
I've pretty much already prepared for when that arcane number...
Yeah, well, don't get your hopes up too much, but yeah, be prepared, but also be prepared for the option that it might take a while for that to happen.
Might take a year like it did for you or something like that.
Yeah, it's very possible. So you have the picture with the equips. Is that your drop rate set?
That was the drop set in the picture. I got my my damaging set is also included in there. I just didn't. I wasn't going to take a picture of both of them, just like the icons. So.
I see. Yeah. And what's your like mezzo and drop? Are you able to just clear properly? You don't have any like loss of clear speed?
No, I can one shot. I usually train at LH2. That's like my map to go to. I get
LH2. Wait, is that
Last Horizon? That's a
right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I get probably per totem, it's 1.2 to 1.3 billion as dual blade. So I mean, that's about as good as I can do, I think.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah. And you have and you don't have mezzo in your inner, right?
I do not have Maze on my inner.
Yeah. That's pretty good then.
I wish I did.
Yeah.
It's like a full bossing setup.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of lucker dogged into that 18% crit.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the only way to get it is by lucking into it.
So just lock those two lines, and I wanted to get Meso on the third line, but I mean, buff skill duration is a very good quality of life.
For sure.
Kind of line to have, so I feel no need to even spend the Sunny Sundays points on inner ability when it's just like the gains are so minimal.
Oh yeah, no, definitely keep what you have now. That's as good as it's gonna get probably. Wasn't anything missing there? You have the Munster Parker. Yeah, so I think just getting a bunch of Katara backups and then going hard on your CRA / you can, you know, because eventually when you get the Genesis weapon, you go back to the CRA hat, right? So.
Exactly. I'll never have to get rid of that hat. It has such good lines on it.
Was that?
It would just feel wrong to get
that was
rid of
cooldown and look, right?
Yeah, it has cooldown, a prime line of
all stat and
luck.
Yeah, that is very nice. Very nice indeed. Yeah, so Starforce wise, I feel like right now the balance is definitely the flames are like are about like where you want them, a little bit above. The potentials are like where you want them, around where you want them, maybe a little bit above, but closer to like right where you want them. And then the Starforce is definitely below where you want it. So the 51015 could have come at a better time. You're probably saving for it specifically for that you can go pretty hard now. So what is the funds that we're working with for the event?
Right now, I've got about 6 bill, but I've got a lot of totems to use, and
Mm-hmm.
I've got a lot of, since my Legion's so big, I got a lot of coins to burn on Legion Wealths, the 20 and the 30-minute coupons. So I plan on just buying all of them out as soon as tomorrow's reset hits and just
Mm-hmm.
going hard this next week. I can probably have close to 20 billion, is what my estimates
So you're gonna
looking
like
like right now.
two totem a day like the whole week basically.
Pretty much just no life maple.
Yeah. Okay. Just balanced, healthy life choices.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But I can take it easy after that though. So
Oh yeah, yeah. You can the big was it like the come down when you
pretty much
yeah
after the 17th, I'm not gonna have any totems for the rest of the month.
yeah then you're just forced to chill. Maybe one or two from the daily gift, but that's about it.
Fairy Rose, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're looking at about 20. Um,
My
17
goal was to get
everything.
like 17 and possibly just get like 18 as like a roulette kind of thing. Just like get 17 and then just one at a time. 18, send that item. Just get all of them to 18 next
Mm-hmm.
on as
And
many as
which
I can.
but more importantly than what you're gonna do, like which items are you gonna do it on? That's the more important thing there, right?
Right.
Because some are very high risk, like a superior and a reinforced Gollux rings are pretty high risk to do that with.
I do have one backup on the reinforced
Oh yeah, I see it
ring
here. Yeah.
sitting
Mm-hmm.
in my inventory, and then I also got a few superior belts and those 2 earrings there. So
Yep. Those are superior earrings, right?
not those are superior.
Yep. And then 3 masters. Yeah. Um. Yeah.
Then
The
one
the
dagger
chance
drop
to
from Xavier.
boom. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The chance to boom for 17 to 18 is very very low. So that might make it that might make the itch to just get everything up to 18 somewhat justified. Um, I would say that's totally up to you if you want to do that though. To like do the round to 18. I think realistically you should be able to do that on pretty much all of your equips with maybe one of them, or like at worst case scenarios like 2 of them booms if you're trying to get everything up to 18. That only already means though for for Abzo that might be quite an expensive cost to get back up there, and for some other items that are borderline irreplaceable or irreplaceable, that might be a risk that you don't want to take at all.
Right.
So I'd be more inclined to like get all the abs to 17, accessories to 17, Iron Face, possibly those to 18, because you do have the dineros. That's something that you can decide. I think that's a relatively lower risk. And they're higher level, so the possible gains there is more compared to, they have the same chance of booming, but when it succeeds, you get more of a bonus, right? So there's a better opportunity cost there to send to higher stars.
Right. Do the
Um,
160 items over the 150s and 140s.
yeah, and then but then above all of that, like where you can take the highest risk, I think it's just the CRA set and the Katara. Once you have a few backups there, with the Katara being first, and then the CRA set just below that, because the Katara is higher level, and you can, I mean, before then you can probably get like 10 or 12 backups or something, right?
Right.
If you do
Right.
solo voyages and CPQ, you could probably get like 2 or 3 a day,
Exactly.
maybe even more if you do Lith. Can you do Lith Harbor with the boat?
Yeah, I got the level 3 dreadnought
Oh yeah, you got the Dreadnought, yeah.
all the way up to the end. Yep.
So you could do 4, so that's 16 bosses. Yeah, so there's got to be like 4 or 5 Kataras a day. Almost. Well, you have to share with the dagger drop, so yeah, probably like 3. Yeah, so you should have a plethora of those, and then you can decide if you do like roulette between those 4 items, or if you do like the Katara first, and then roulette between the CRA, and that kind of will depend on how much money you're working with at any given
Right.
point, any given junction where you can make a different decision. Then yeah.
That
That's
sounds good.
that's probably what I'd do.
You think you would just like get him to 17 on like everything, then just work on those 3 CRA pieces and then just like full send the Katara, basically, like with the leftover funds.
Yeah, or do like the roulette between all four.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like all the 18, all the 19. If one falls, you can like see pick it back up, so that at the end, basically, and the way I talk about it in the previous sessions as well is like you can choose to be, to get your, maybe you get your 20 star and then the all three are 17, or you end up like not getting it and you end up with 4 items that are all 17, or you end up with 120 and the rest is 18 or 19, or you end up with the 17 and the rest are 18 or 19, right? Those are the two situations you're looking at. In both situations, when you look at the worst and best case outcome, if you get unlucky or lucky with the money, if you do them one at a time, you'll end up just stronger and on items that you will end up keeping if you just do them one at a time.
Right.
Because when you think about the risk of getting the 17 to 19 on one item is always higher than getting 17 to 18 on 2 items. So that way, you get a better bang for your buck at the lower stars always.
Right.
Yep. Man's getting close to not doing dailies at all. Well, he's definitely got some stuff taken care of. And
that Celestial event was so kind.
Oh yeah, you went super hard on the like line.
Out of the 4 weeks, I did 3 of the Unending Night. So the last one, I was like, all right, let's just search this last one.
Yeah. How much money goes into just leveling symbols at that point?
I forgot what the calculation was on all 6 symbols. If you max them all, it's like,
I think it's 9 bill.
Multiple bill, yeah, like close to 10 bill.
Yep. Yeah, I think something like that. But if you level, usually you don't really notice how much money it is because you're leveling those slowly over time. But then if you have something like this event, you're just like leveling. But even I guess the last 2 levels, even if you're going from 18 to 19 and 19 to 20, there's still a decent amount of time in between, even if you're doubling everything or tripling everything at the end. There's still like a week or 2 weeks in between.
Yeah, those last 2 symbols are just gonna take like 3 months or something like that.
Dude, yeah, it feels, I did that on my hero recently. Honestly, yeah. Once you just get to 17, it takes forever to get to 18, it takes forever to get to 19. But then once you're 19, it feels like 20 happens like in a snap because you're just counting down.
Right,
and that's it's always way faster counting down. Yeah. Or you have an event here, or like today you get 30 symbols, right? And that speeds it up again. That's like 2 days between the two.
Right.
All the little bits.
Whenever they give me like the symbols, I just split it 15-15 or 10-10 if it's 20 symbols.
Exactly.
That way they all stay. I think they're both exactly the same number. Like even in the like level 17 tier, they're both at the exact same.
Yeah. And then you notice suddenly that one is like 8 higher than the other one, and then you remember that you forget to hand in a daily one day.
That happened once.
Yeah, and it becomes like painfully obvious. Dude, I mean, if you're doing dailies for over a year, like you're gonna forget to hand it in once or twice. Like that's just, that's just gonna happen.
I know. I wish there was like one, like overarching checklist they would put in the game that just like tells you everything that you've done for the day. That way you don't have to go through all the menus and be like, did I do this?
Well, technically for symbols there is, right? Because there's Spiegelman. Yeah.
Yeah, that I know. That one I check, but I wish they just had one for like everything, like all the.
But do they have this, like the Arcane River Quick? But like, is this in a button available? Like this should be like a button you can press at the end of the day just to check if you have them all done or not.
Right.
But I think you have to find a Spiegelman. Oh, by the way, just a quick tip for you and for everyone on Sunday. Dream Defender closes 30 minutes before the end of the day on Sunday, so make sure you get your Dream Defender runs done in time and not like leave them to last minute, because Flopsy will just be like, nope, and just not let you in. And you'll just be like, well,
rip those runs.
Yeah, rip like 6 symbols, 7 symbols, something like that. Oh, speaking
or like whenever you're trying to get all your like monster parks or your maple tours done, and you get that one extra pop-up that says,
why are you making it harder for me? Hey, by the way, here's an extra way of wasting your time. Thanks.
Exactly. Here's one more screen you have to hit yes through.
Such a great system. I mean, I get the intention behind it, but you should have like a tick box to like ignore this message or something.
Yeah, ignore this message forever.
Yeah, something like that, like read and acknowledged. Now, please don't repeat. Um,
Exactly.
Yeah, because I think a high Starforce Katara is going to do wonders for your damage. It's going to stick with you, and then once you finalize the potential on it, that item in itself is going to just that item by itself. When usually it's it's like the harmonious, everything in your account working together, but that item by itself is going to disproportionately account for a whole lot of extra damage increase in both Starforce and potential.
Gotcha. So even once the 5, 10, 15's done and over with, assuming it's at like 18 stars or something like that, just that would be the first item to cube as well. Do you think?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, from everything I've seen, if I remember the numbers, because you have a lot of percentage all stat lines, but that's not as bad for dual blade because you do scale very well off of that. So,
Right. Nice
like,
to have strength and dex as 2 secondaries.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, if your weapon was an arcane, I'd definitely say your weapon instead. But since it's not an arcane yet, I think it's worth to leave it because you don't need the upgrade there. It's just
Right. So just get it to 17 stars and just kind of sit on it until
exactly, yeah.
Lucid will decide to be generous and
Be
drop
generous,
the
yeah.
cutter for.
Get that arcane pizza cutter. It's such a man. I mean, it's nice and purple and shiny, and I like the color purple, so I think it still looks cool. But it is like glorified pizza cutter, if ever I've seen one. Yeah.
The sharpest of pizza cutters.
Oh yeah. You probably cut your table in half as well when you're trying to slice it up. But just 15 to 17, the sheer amount of stat and attack you're getting from that is going to be huge. Huge. And then the extra stars on CRA and the secondary. I think with 20 if you get all the other stuff to 17, have you done a little bit of number crunching to get some kind of idea?
I have an estimate on how much it's all going to cost, assuming averages. Of course, you can't really predict what averages are going to do, but between all those 15s, getting them all to 17, assuming I star catch from 15 to 17, or I guess I don't have to from 15 to 16.
Yeah, 16 to 17, yeah. And then safeguard. You do plan to safeguard, right?
I actually won't safeguard just due to my number of backups and stuff.
For Abzo as well? Well, for the rings you would probably, right?
Oh, I don't even safeguard those, honestly. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, I would do. I would do that. That's like, because you're paying like 300 extra mil for the insurance there. I would do that.
Oh, you mean like for the Galax rings then?
Yeah, Galax rings for sure. Meister, you have 3 backups in your inventory. You could risk it, but yeah, I wouldn't do it for things you have like a lot of backups for. So the CRA, I wouldn't do it for the Eye in the Face, right? For the Sweetwater stuff, and I wouldn't do it for the CRA, and I wouldn't do it for the Katara. But for everything else, I would safeguard.
Fair enough.
With how expensive.
Million, I probably have the wherewithal to do it. So.
Yeah, because like one item blowing up just sets you back 3 weeks of dailies.
Yeah, especially if it's the superior ring, 700 freaking points.
Yeah, that is and it's
quite a chunk there.
Yeah, and the more the way that you want to look at it as well, like the individual risk is very, very low. So I get that part, but the risk that you have to look at is when you do it on so many items and you run the small risk on so many items. There's a very good the likelihood that just one of them is going to blow is very, very high.
Right.
Because
that's why I kind of regret the reinforced and the superior rings both hitting 3-line like pure luck.
Mm-hmm.
Now I kind of have to Starforce on those items directly.
Kind of, yeah. It's still, I think, if you make the jump from 17 on the superior to 21, I think that still warrants re-rolling it. Because when you think about it, the amount of stat and weapon attack you get from those extra 4 stars versus even having to, quote-unquote, having to settle with 27%, for example, that's still a huge increase that warrants having to redo the potential. Sometimes people roll like 12, 12, 9 or something on 17, and then they're too scared to Starforce it up because they have 12, 12, 9. But when you think about it, let's say that you don't have 12, 12, 9, you have 12, 9, 9, and you end up sitting on 12, 6, 9, so you're losing 3% stat. Even with flame score and like end game and everything, that's probably because it's not all. Well, let's say it's an all stat line. Let's even go there and say that it's roughly like 30 flame score value. Just one extra star on your item is probably about 11 stat and 13 weapon attack, which is about 50 flame score value. So that's already twice as much of a gain if you compare them. Does that make sense?
Right. So, would I just you think I could use like a Meister fodder to just get that up to 21 and then just transfer into Superior?
Yeah, eventually, yeah. With the 20 bill, I think we already have enough to work with CRA and with the Katara. But eventually, I don't think the 3-line attack should like hold you back from being able to do that. And I would keep the backups more in case you want to go for 21. Like, let's say you're doing 21, transfer into 20, and then again to 21. Something like that. Because that's, theoretically, that's cheaper than going 22 and transferring into 21. Right, because the risk of getting from 20 to 22 on the source item is higher than getting from 20 to 21 twice, once on the source and once on the target item.
Makes sense.
So that would theoretically be cheaper, but you're not front loading all the risk on the source item, you're backloading some of the risk onto the target item. So that's a little bit more dangerous. But if you save up coins over time and maybe buy one backup previously, so you have like a second backup that you can maybe buy in the week, something like that. Like around the weekly reset for the items in the shop, then that would be a more realistic and safer way. Well, it's less safe, but it's more realistic way, right, to get to 21 superior eventually. And then once you hit that, it's 100% justified to just roll over a 30% luck. As good as that is, and as good as that looks, and then even if you end up with 27, you don't have to see that as like that you lost potential, because the Starforce is just so much better.
Makes sense.
If you have like a friend, maybe, well, I assume that you have friends, but I mean, if you have know someone in the game who has like a high Starforce, like 20 or 21 superior, maybe not even with perfect stats, and they can link it to you so you can see how much the range difference is. It's immense. The amount of total stat and all stat and weapon attack is crazy.
Yeah, it's so disproportionate between what I can gain on potential versus starring right now. It's just the balance isn't even close to balance.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think your reinforced now has 0 bonus weapon attack, right? It's like on the verge of getting a lot, but right now it has 0. And I think if you get it to 21, which is just 6 stars, I believe you gain about 75 to 80 weapon attack, which, compared to your potential, just dwarfs whatever the potential is.
Right. Ready for my gear to finally be mini weapons at this point.
Yeah, you're just you think you're dual wielding now, you're gonna be like 18 wielding. Everything is gonna be
wielding everything.
Basically, if you'd visualize it on the character, like everything just gets more and more spikes, and you just like as a dual blade, you just roll into everything, and just everything hurts the opponent basically.
It's an actual like karmic fury, just knives going everywhere.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. Everything gets pointy and spiky. Yeah, other than that, like your flames are pretty on point. I think once you get the arcane, then you go crazy on flaming on that, right? You already have the transposed both, right?
Transposed Katara.
All three, I guess. All three, yeah.
Accessories.
Yeah,
all three of them,
yeah. For most people, it's both, but for Ika, yeah, you're right. For you, it's all three, yeah.
Unfortunately, I was a dirty settler, and I stopped at 44. I think it was 48 and 6 on one of those items.
11, 44 and 6, yeah, 44 and 6. Well, that's not bad though, because 6 counts for 10 for endgame for flame score, so that's basically a 104, and people basically settle between 104, or settle. They go aim for 105 to 115, and you're at 104. That's really close, so I don't think that's. It feels a little bit lower, but your all stat is hugely valuable for dual blades. In fact, they had the 6 there. That makes up for it, I think. And they have some extra dex, so like that probably gets it almost at a 105. Yeah, I think that's decently good. Well, actually, it's really good. I should impose like super high standards. This is probably like 90th. Is it like 90th percentile or like 92nd percentile or something of people's pendants with how good they are.
I did save a backup like a Dominator pendant just to throw flames on, just to see if anything
Mhm.
really good.
Anything
pops up.
crazy? Yeah.
Anything ridiculous. It had to be like 75 and 6 or something like that to just even consider making that switch.
Yeah, so that's a good thing to have in your brain when you're upgrading, especially when you're upgrading flames, to be like, okay, I can upgrade this, but that's not an argument, right? Because you can upgrade everything. So what is realistically the upgrade that you're looking for? And then with that in mind, how much are you willing to, like, how much off of that are you willing to go? Like, what would you settle for, and how much are you really willing to spend on that? Because if you think about that, is like, okay, in order to switch, to give you like an old example for me is like I was using the Tyrant belt, and it was like, oh, the superior belts are coming out. I was like, okay, but or no, I was using a superior belt, but then Tyrant was supposed to be like way, way, way better. It was like, okay, but how far do I have to get my Tyrant to consider switching over and recubing and doing the whole thing? It's like, well, I probably have to get a 12 star. Okay, well, what's the cost of getting a 12 star? Okay, that number is too big to pronounce, so I'm sticking to the superior belt. And then when I had the chance and when I had money and I had coins, I was like, well, fuck it, let's just send. And I got it to 10, and people were like, oh, it's an upgrade. It's like, well, it's not really an upgrade. It's actually kind of a downgrade, and it's going to cost me money, so I'm just going to try for 11. And then 11 worked, and then 12 worked. It's like, okay, well, now I have to. But if I didn't get to that point, I just wouldn't have switched over. Or if I never got to the point where I had that kind of money, I wouldn't even considered investing it in that. So it's good to always look at what are the other options that you can do with the flames, because if you have one or two flames, you can't really do anything functional with that, so it makes sense you're throwing it on something to see, kind of Hail Mary every time. But if you do end up saving up your flames, maybe there is still a realistic flame score gain that you can make on something else. But even your drop rate gear has pretty decent flames, so I'm not sure.
I got 94 flame on the mecha.
Yeah, I scrolled past that. I didn't want to even call that out because it's like kind of ridiculous.
So I saw that drop. I'm like, I have to turn this into a drop piece.
Yeah, you just have to. Yeah.
Then I ended up getting double meso on it. I'm like, well, that's
yeah.
done for good.
Yeah, you get a lot of double stuff. How much drop rate do you end up with? Like 100 and...
I have exactly 200% item drop rate.
2 drop.
And 100% meso. So
yeah.
I got 15 lines of drop on my gear.
That's
and
perfect.
I still one-shot pretty easily. So.
Yeah. Very nice.
That's why
very
I'm
nice.
able to get pretty good rates as a dual blade even. I've considered making the Kana. Like, if I can make 600 million an hour on Totem as a dual blade, like, why do it for like, what, an extra 150 to 200 million an hour and just start a brand new character?
Right. Right. And if you're yes, that and it's only for 6 months, right? Because then the death penalty is gone, so you're gonna have to level it up past anyway.
Right. So
and the other thing is you oh god. Oh, and you probably your experience rates per hour aren't insane on the dual blade. They're like good, but not crazy good, right?
Right.
So it slows like, how fast in a time frame you're going to be leveling your dual blade as well.
Right. I focus a lot more on looting, sad as it sounds. I probably do get my own EXP rates. I get like 12 to 13% per totem, and that's actually good enough for me.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good.
It's a slow and steady rise all the way to 255. Once I hit 255, I can really slow down. That's the level for the last area in the game. Once I get there, it's just like, okay, well, I'll just slowly level.
Well, the last area for now. They just keep piling on.
Right?
Yeah.
Ready to make the grind to 300.
God, those experience numbers are insane.
Or you can just make, 1,100 250s? 300.
Was it? I think it was... Or was it 1,100? Was it 1,200? It was something... Yeah, I think like 30 accounts full of 30 accounts with 10k Legion is the equivalent of one character to 300, something like that.
I don't know where they come up with these numbers from.
Yeah, pretty broken. I mean, they start high, to make it like impossible, so the people who really, really want to go for it get like insane amounts of recognition and value out of it, and then once those people have it, then they can make it easier for people, and then get double whammy. It's like when you price an item just too high, and then it gives a level of exclusivity, and then people buy it because it's so expensive, so they can show it off. And then you drop the price, and then people can feel like they're getting an expensive thing for less, and they feel like they got a bargain, but maybe the actual value of the item is like a quarter of what the reduced price even is, and everyone's just getting scammed. It's all about perception, you know.
Yeah, sounds like when Nexon comes out with like a cash shop sale that they've introduced for the very first time, they're saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, 11% off." I'm like, there was nothing to base that off of.
You must watch my stream a lot because I had the exact same. I was in the cash shop and I was like, "How is it a discount from nothing? what is it
It's
discounted
like the
from?"
first time you've ever featured it. How can it be 11%
Yeah.
off of what?
It's like, this is what we would have priced it, but we priced it this. It's like, yeah, but you didn't price it the other thing ever, so you can't say it's a discount. It's so strange. But yeah, everything that just looks like, oh, it's 60K and then has a line through it and then it's 48. Oh shit, that's a steal. But yeah, it's purely just playing on people's perception of numbers and people's psychology, you know. But it works, you know.
It does work.
For better or worse. There was one more thing. Wait, you're talking about the totems, the tank, the kind of the rates, the looting. There's one more thing you could do to increase your rates further. And if you're really, really, really easily one-shotting, it's a decent chunk of damage that you lose, and only a small amount of meso that you increase. But there's one more thing you can do.
Okay, what's that?
The glove?
Oh, auto steal?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could do that.
That is, because
But,
if
yeah,
you
there's-
are actually going to go for... If you're going for 275, then you will be trading for a long time, so it will end up definitely paying out. But of course...
I do have a 7% auto steal familiar. I
That-
did end up getting one of those on a unique tier.
That would stack with it, yeah. If you use that one, and then your current large drop, and then whatever you have that has the most defense, right? So you deplete your gauge slower. And if you combine that with auto steel, because I think you know how to make auto steel gloves, right?
Right, yeah.
So
you just use the Meister cubes?
Yeah, the Meister cubes, yeah. So I think you can realistically aim for like 9% on there, and if you combine that with more auto steel on the familiars, it can actually be okay rates.
It'd be worth considering at least.
I think you gain like 6. Looking at like
I read a little bit about auto steal, like it's
like 50
it
mil.
dropped a chance to drop like 50% of the base mesos that it would have dropped
Mm-hmm.
if you killed it.
Yeah,
But
something
it
like
also
that.
works on one-shot attacks, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that technically gives you a chance to give 2 bags, kind of.
pretty much.
But
yeah.
the second one is tiny compared to the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, the auto stolen bag isn't affected by meso obtain, so at least that's what I read. I don't
Okay.
I don't know that. So
Yeah, that's
So
yeah, because
what-
if it was, you'd expect like huge increases.
yeah. So it's basically only like 25% of the
Mhm.
bags that are actually dropping or something like that.
Mhm.
I haven't actually tested though. So.
Well, if you do, but yeah, it does add up. If you kill a whole bunch of monsters and you're going to train for hundreds of hours, then it does end up adding up, of course. But yeah, you're losing 16% critical damage, 169 luck, and now you're losing 12 attack. But if you're okay with one-shotting now and everything else is only at 15 stars, then I'm pretty sure that after 15 stars, even losing the 16% crit damage, you still wouldn't have any trouble killing.
I've looked around in Labyrinth
Mhm.
for any decent maps, and the best one I could come across is like Core 1. That actually has a decent map layout for dual blades. Anything else is just either too high or too big or just awkward to loot.
Core
So
one. Is that the horizontal one?
That's the one with the blue, the silent.
They're all blue.
Knights.
Silent Knights.
It's the one. Let me open up my map here.
Core. No, that's End of the World, and this is End of the World
It's
too.
in
So.
it's in the purple layer of Labyrinth, all the way to the left. Yeah, Despairing Wings, 257.
Not the World Sorrow
No.
Depths?
No, not Limina, Labyrinth.
Oh, Labyrinth. Oh, my bad, my bad. Oh, so you could already go there now.
Yeah, I've looked around at different maps there, and I like Last Horizon. That seems to be the most efficient place to loot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a
It's
lot of
really
like tiny platforms with like lost bags.
right. Your pets like can actually make the gap, like the jump gap.
Yeah.
And if
Oh
they're
yeah.
falling
Oh, the
down
worst
at
part is
the
when
right
they
time.
fall and you're just waiting for 3 minutes for them to get to teleport back. It's like, oh come on.
Seriously,
Yep. It's so
you
horribly
had to fall,
programmed.
didn't you?
Yeah.
I gave you one job and you can't even loot.
Or you stand still and you just stutter 1 pixel to the left, and your pets are like Geronimo, and they just like jump, launch themselves off the platform, and they're like, why?
Like the people who sit in like Genesis or something like that and actually position themselves on a platform so their pets just like perpetually fall.
Oh yeah, it's like a cascade of pets is going down. Yeah.
It's like three pets just like constantly suiciding.
It works best, I think, on people who are kanas because the Haku gets treated as a fourth pet as well, so they're always like fighting for survival on the positioning, so they keep like pushing each other aside and shit. Okay, so the Labyrinth of Suffering Core 1, that's
Yeah,
the one.
Core 1, it's to the left of where you're pointing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one.
And that's a purple. Yeah, I can go there on this character. Not quite high enough level. It's got those little shadowy dudes with the wings. Is that what those
Yeah.
are?
Yeah, I can one-shot him, but it's just... it's a really close one-shot. I don't think I could lose all that damage.
Mhm.
It's still one-shot, so I'd probably have to stay at Last Horizon.
Yeah. And then maybe go from Last Horizon straight up to Limina. Limina has a easier map?
I've seen Dual Blades train at 1.5 and 2.5, I think, were the two maps.
2.5 is, I think, getting a lot very popular, I think. Oh, 2.5, yeah. But those are level 264, right? 262, 263, 264.
I can't imagine I'm going to one-shot with Blade Fury there right at 255.
No. And what about
Maybe-
the World Sorrow Depths map? They're like flat horizontal maps.
I haven't actually seen those. I've only seen Dual Blades, at the end of the world maps. I haven't really seen the World Star ones.
Someone says Dual Blade does well in 1.4. 2.5 is impossible. Yeah, I think 2.5 is super crowded. It's so good for so many classes. It's mainly once you have a Lucid Soul, you put it on one of the platforms, and then you just take the other ones. 2.5 is like I don't know, it's like the CLP of Arcana almost. It's pretty full.
Yeah.
The good thing is, though, once people reach 275, then a lot of times they just completely abandon that area completely, so...
I'll take
But,
a
yeah.
look at 1.4 when I get there, because
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just take a look at all the maps and just make an assessment for myself. I'm only
Yeah.
going off hearsay right now, so...
Yeah, and if you're going to be there for hundreds of hours, you want to have fun as well. Because some people might be just 100% focusing on their experience rates, and you'd be like, okay, you can technically get better experience rates here, but all the money is disappearing. Like, I want to loot too,
Right.
because this is my main income, so I don't mind going to another map that maybe has a lower innate experience rate that I'm not going to reach anyway, and then make way more money along the way.
It's actually painful to watch Mesa bags disappear.
Yeah, watching other people like hardcore. I mean, but people go for 275. Those first people, they have to do that, because if they don't and someone else does, then you just don't get that rank first, But yeah, seeing all of those billions just disappear, it's like, oh god, I'd rather just get there way slower, but have a lot more money when I get there.
Yeah, I'm willing to reach the finish line a little later if it
Mhm.
means, not watching all those bags
It
disappear.
just feels so bad, yeah. Like you worked for it and then it's just gone. Yeah, we're sort of, because I feel like the tornado would be really good there, because you can, summon a tornado, jump through it, and just like, or throw it behind you when you're if you're like near the end of the map, you throw it behind you and then teleport to the other side. Basically, you just go from left to right, running through it. It's like three parallel platforms kind of, and you can hit all platforms with both your tornado and your, is it like Ascension or something? No, not Ascension, but like the big fifth job that just like slashes the whole map like 3 times.
Oh, Blades of Destiny.
Blaze of Destiny, yeah. With both of those, you should be able to hit like the highest platforms, and if there's no super high platform, then with your regular mobbing skill, you should be able to hit at least 2. and then once you get to the end, you just teleport back to the front and you just do it all over again. But you could, yeah, the tornado I think does very well there, where you can throw it left and right. Although I must say that for my character, for my arc, it was also not as good as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, try it out for yourself and see if you like it. Looting can be a little bit annoying because it's like, yeah, it's like the ground floor is okay, but then the middle and the top have all like tiny platforms that are all different heights and different lengths. So
I do kind of a similar thing at Last Horizon 2, just like throw a blade tornado behind me, just do like a double jump, throw it behind me,
mhm.
and then jump forward. Blades of Destiny, and it pretty much wipes the whole map.
Sounds good.
I really wish I had the 4-second cooldown hat to do it even more efficiently.
Right, yeah. You have like specifically.
I'm willing to lose 9% luck to gain 2 more seconds off of my cooldown.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, you have so much percentage luck at a certain point. There's like, oh, I could get to trade one line and use all my skills more. Hell yeah, there's way more utility, way more damage. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, if only were that easy. Like, would you like to trade? Yes. Okay, here you go.
I know. I've thrown some spare black cubes on it, like maybe 50, 60 black cubes at a time at it, just to see what happens. I've seen 3 seconds, but with a deadline on the 3rd line, so I'm just like, I don't know. I already have 2 seconds and 2 actual relevant lines, so not willing to trade that for 1 second. I'll do it for 2 seconds.
Maybe you can, if you have the other hat, maybe you temporarily keep the other hat for like purely for the cooldown part, and the other one purely for like for the combination of the two, because there's like a difference between mobbing and bossing, right?
True.
Where one is technically better for mobbing and the other one's technically better for bossing, and then if you do roll into 3, that would be better for mobbing, and then 2 with lines would be better for bossing, I believe.
Yeah. So if I, oh, you mean on that spare Abso hat? Like if I can get just kind of like get that one up.
If you get 3 there, then you can just use that one for mobbing, because you don't need the set bonus like desperately to be able to one-shot, right?
Right. Yeah, it's boss damage and 20 attack. I would lose that, but that's not a big loss. So.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you don't pile on like reasonable losses and then keep saying it's not a big loss, because then eventually it does become one.
True. I don't know. I pretty easily one-shot since I got pretty much everything maxed in my node tree. It's like,
yeah,
I don't struggle with anything right
now.
now.
Matrix looks really solid. The only thing is, no, the extra Starforce now is going to be crazy good for you.
Now at least I got a plan of action for next Sunday. So now all that's left to do is just farm endlessly until that day arrives.
It's just like use up all those totems. That's all you got to do now.
That, and I got tons and tons of maple points from when I played Bear. I sold all my stuff. I don't plan on going back to Bear ever again. So I'm sitting on right now like 800,000 maple points, and I have about 120 billion mesos to sell still.
Nice. Yeah, you're waiting for that next Bitcoin spike.
Pretty much.
If you can get something like that going on. Speaking of which, let me double check. Ooh, went down a little bit again. Okay, finally. Jesus.
Calculate it. Once I sell all my mesos on Vera, like once all of it's gone and I can finally just close that chapter, I should have a little over 2 million maple points, which means I can run 7
That's like 2 years.
maple tours for like 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, so. Yeah. And if you have some events with maple points along the way, you can extend it by almost another year. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, with the maple points, since you're in no rush to sell, you just wanna, you wanna check like every week, check a few times to see what the rates are doing, and if the rates ever reset, you just sell off like 10, 20, 30 bill, and then if the rates, you can have like a pretty high standard for what you sell at.
Yeah, right now Bear is at 1,500 maple points per 100 mil.
Yeah, that's not great. I think when I sold, it was between 2,500 and 2,600, I think. That's when I sold off all of mine. But it also sell an item then, which isn't really good. But if you sold off your items like before the giant increase, and then you sell the mesos themselves during the increase, you get, yeah, crazy amounts of maple points. You can get millions.
Right. Right. I sold my items actually pretty recently, so they were selling when mesos were actually pretty valuable. So.
Yeah, you do want to get that that extra value out then by selling them at the right time. But yeah, even realistically, if you don't sell them within like a year, you still not run out of maple points because it's a pretty slow burn.
Right. It's 10,500 maple points per week.
Yeah, 1.5 a day. Yeah. So you're using like 550,000 or something, roughly like that, in a year. So you've still got like a year and a half in the bank right now.
Still sitting on close to 4 years total once everything goes, even at these rates.
Yeah, exactly. So if
Not too shabby.
bad comes to worst, you've got that plan laid out for you. Yeah. Okay. I don't think there's anything major that we overlooked.
That's all I was really looking for is just like the gear, all the account progression stuff. I pretty much get. I was just really looking for the affirmation for like what to do for the 5, 10, 15, just what order to go in and stuff like that. So that really clarified it. Plus the familiar question was the only other thing I had. So.
Yep. Okay. Fine. That's well, that gets us wrapped up at a decent time. Finally, one below under 2 hours, guys. We did it. Had some sessions go pretty long, but yeah, if you have to go into like flame score and all of that stuff a little bit more, then it can take a bit, of course.
Yeah, the commands in chat are super helpful. I've used those and they're easy to use and intuitive. Highly encourage everyone to use them.
Yeah, if there's ever one, I try to be open when people think that one is bad or needs to be redone. The thing is, I usually don't redo everything because one person thinks it's bad. But if I hear the same critique a few times, I will always take it to heart and adjust stuff. So definitely speak out, guys, if you see something where you're like, this is missing, or I was expecting to see this information here instead, or this is counterintuitive, something like that. Because the more of you speak up, the more I can, if there's no actual critique, then, I'm just going to go by my own judgment. But if there's more critique and more feedback externally, then I'll have to redo some stuff as well. So make sure that you speak up. If you want to, of course. You don't have to try to find problems that aren't there, okay? I'm not like looking for stuff to do. Like I have enough stuff to do, but if it helps new people get around more easily, then speed infusion.
Not looking to reinvent the wheel here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, you use speed infusion, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, Pete is asking because I think he plays all the thieves as well. I'm pretty sure you need it, but because you can have it, you don't need the attack speed +1, right?
Right. And then Maple Goddess Blessing is really the kind of a side project I'm working on. It's a little lower than the other nodes. So
oh yeah, that's still something to look forward to.
That'll be added to the burst. That actually wasn't factored into that. I just full buffed Last Resort, everything, and that stat window at the top. So Maple Goddess Blessing wasn't even factored into that. So I imagine that could go even higher once it maxes out. So.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of stat from that. Yeah. In KMS they cap without it, and also if you have a Sweetwater Dagger, you also cap without it because that one is a rank of attack speed higher. Yeah, but if you're in KMS brain, then yeah, you're not considering like Green Pot and stuff. Yeah, since we use Green Pot, it increases the possible cap by 2, but Green Pot only gives you 1, so you still want to have that extra 1 rank to fill out that rank. Yeah. Yeah, so that's your brain on KMS, guys. Careful. Yeah, all right. If anything still pops up or you have like an additional question, you can always hit me up on Discord or in the chat.
Sounds good.
Did you win through YouTube?
I did. Also, I wanted to, that reminds me, thank you whoever donated and gave people these free sessions. Really, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was Kenjini, Arino, and who was the third person? I don't think Mirio gets it specifically for this. And Bukhara, I think, yeah, and Bukhara, they'll. I'm just gonna say that it wasn't like specifically 1-for-1, but it was just like a giant pile of of donations specifically just for sessions. So yeah, those 3 guys. Shout out to those 3 guys coming through for like 15 sessions. So we're getting near the end of having them all like planned, but I think I'll still have another full week of at least one a day. But it's
Yeah, thanks for being flexible with my work schedule. I know it's not. I wish I could know my schedule ahead of time. I just simply can't where I'm at, unfortunately. So
yeah, some people. Yeah, no problem. For a lot of people, I try to be like a little bit rigid in when I plan them, and then but I have a lot of wiggle room. But if I don't have to, then I prefer not to, of course. But then that leaves me the room to be like, okay, well, let's move it around a little bit. Now I'm gonna start like planning in a few free days every now and then. But then if there's like a last minute thing, I can bring someone in still. But I prefer to Ideally, I do like 2 or 3 a week or something, not one every single day. But while we're working on that backlog, we'll have to work a little bit harder. But it's fine.
Even Scardor needs a break every now and again.
Yeah, just a little bit. But my streaming hours are going a little bit crazy again. There's probably going to be like one day where I just open up the stream and I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I'll still play like 4 hours of Maple on the side or something, but I probably need to do a bunch of other stuff. Like the amount of emails and like Discord messages and everything, it does get to be quite a lot every single day. So I do have to, manage my time a little bit better. But we manage. But yeah, best of luck. I hope everything works out. Luck, because you're a thief. Nice. That was horrible. Sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, the big thing is just hoping for 5, 10, 15 to pan out and not boom too many items.
Yeah. Or the worst part, if you're going for CRA, High Star, and for the Katara, the worst part is when you keep bouncing back between like 15 and 18 and it never goes up and it just eats away all your money. You'd rather have it like boom so you can restart or go up, like one of the two. But just the endless yo-yoing and just eating up all your money without going anywhere, that's going to feel really bad. And if you've only gone up to 15, it doesn't really eat that much money because it takes so long to spend it. But once you, if you're like between 17 and 19 a little bit, your money just drains very, very quickly.
Yeah, I had a few items that were sitting at 18 stars, got to 19 stars with a lucky one tap, and then just go 18, 19, 18, 19. Like, come on, this is so many mesos.
Yeah. Was it on, on this character?
On this character, yeah. That's why a lot of my stuff, unfortunately, has dropped down to 15 star. This used to be 18 star stuff, but just with
I see.
Terrible Starforcing luck and terrible decision making on top of that.
Right, you had to like retrace it, remake it, and then get it all back up to 15.
I'm like, well, 5, 10, 15's coming up, so I'm gonna get it right back up to where it was eventually. Just
right.
A few bills.
Yeah, just a little, yeah. But yeah, best of luck, and I'll see you around.
All right, thank you again.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good day.
Hey, you too.
Yes, bye. All right. Did I check my audio settings? I did. This one was still on though, but I think I had that on last time as well, and it didn't do anything. I think my audio was fine. But yeah, if you liked the session, I'm glad. If it was informative for you, good. Today is interability. Make sure you check the interability command in my channel to make sure that you have the right approach to redo your interability. And next week we have the 5, 10, 15. Use the Starforce command. Check the progression sessions. Ask during the stream. Please don't send me huge collections of pictures and just questions on Discord, expecting me to basically do one of these sessions for free through Discord. It's a little bit too much for me to handle. Just come into the stream, ask like specific questions, 1 or 2, just one at a time. And then if you space it out, you could basically get a free progression session over like a week if you play your cards right. But if you have like, hey, what do I do with my account? Then, please just support me, pay for a session, and then just get everything in one go, okay? If you want to do one of those sessions, check the description. And also, please send me info, battle analysis, monster kill per hour, and training videos, Moonbridge, and higher. Also link in the description. Thank you. And hope you're having a good 2021 so far.